All right, open up for questions for Marcus Johnson and Jemai Felton.
Marcus, obviously, they shot really well from three, really started the second half strong. Just kind of how tough were those aspects? Obviously really good first half, but just maybe a little bit of a slow start in the second half there.
They shot the ball well. We just gotta play better defense. They're one of the worst 3-point teams in the conference. So we have to be able to just get stops and man. And then coming out in the second half, we got to be more focused, just listening to the huddles, and just being locked in, Yeah.
Jemai, obviously the battle on the glass, Toledo was able to get some second chance points, but then you guys really turned the tide kind of there late to stay in it. Just talk about, just that battle, obviously going up with them on the glass.
Coach just really emphasized just winning on the glass. And, I could have had 5 or 6 more. I just got to focus in and getting them extra 5 to make the difference to help us win. But, yeah.
You guys had a pretty successful first half, only trailing by 5 at halftime. They did go on a little run at the end. What did they do in that second half that you think limited you guys' offense?
I don't think they really did anything special. I think we beat ourselves. Just making them one more pass, just playing together as a team. This is another game where we have 10 assists. Last game versus Miami, we had more than 10 assists. We had our offense was smoothly selling, and we just got play more as a team and just swing the ball around the arc more, and just finish more inside and just be smarter with our shot selection down the stretch.
Can you just talk about what this rivalry means for both of you guys, Battle of I-75 here between these two teams?
It means a lot. Obviously, this is my first time, in the rivalry, and I just see that it means a lot to this town and Toledo, and so just going forward, it's just this is the biggest game of the year. So we just got to be locked in and want to win this game.
I was just going to kind of ask you a similar question, Marcus. It might be hard for rivalries to have the same meeting in this era when teams are just completely new each year. But from the first day on campus, were you hearing about Toledo this game? How were you kind of indoctrinated into the rivalry?
I knew about the rivalry. Just being on visit. Just knowing that Toledo is 30 minutes down the street. This game really means a lot, to both towns, and this is this biggest game all year. Obviously, non-conference, you wasn't really too worried about it too much, but going to conference play, this is the biggest game that we want to win. This game means a lot to the fans, so we just have to try to get it the second time.
7-12 now on the season. How do you guys kind of rally the troops and get it going the rest of the season?
We just have to just go back to the drawing board and just know that it's gonna be up and downs, but we have a good team, good coaching staff that they're gonna put us in the best situation to keep trying to improve and win the next game. And so the next game is Kent State, so that's on the road. So just prepare for that, recover our bodies and just try to focus on that game.
I mean, speaking of the Kent State game, what are you guys doing to prepare for, going from this game to facing one of the top teams in the conference in just a couple days?
Like tomorrow, it's recovery day, and then we're gonna get back after it. They're tough physical team. And so we just gotta be ready and to fight and scrap and get the 50-50 loose balls. It's gonna be a real tough game. So we just gotta try win that game and still win at their crib.
Jemai, just what was it like playing in front of this crowd? Obviously packed here at the Stroh Center. I mean, just a lot of energy, especially when you guys are playing well. What was it like just in this environment?
It was great. I mean, I got to watch it for 2 years before I actually got to play on the floor, but it's the same as the last 2 years. It's high energy. They helped us go on a run, and we just look forward to every game. Help us win.
Any more questions for our players? Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Coach, if you'd like to start with an opening statement, then we'll open up for questions.
Yeah, I mean, tough loss. You never want to lose a rivalry game, and hats off to Toledo. They played great, shot it really, really well, made us pay any chance they got, and we've got to do a better job. Some of the things that we emphasize, particularly with rebounding, we was a huge emphasis all week, and we didn't get that done. We didn't get, we had a good game of sharing the ball, making simple plays against Miami, Ohio. And this game, I thought, we had way too many kind of maybe hero shots that ball got a little sticky, particularly when they were switching and guys trying to win one-on-one battles as opposed to kind of drawing two and making a play for somebody else. So, all in all, we've got to continue to get back to the drawing board, and the season's a marathon, and so we get back, get better, and learn from our mistakes, and find the strengths, and then apply them to the next game.
Obviously, they get off to a quick start in the first half, but then the second half, kind of some weird turnovers from both sides, but they double their lead, get a double-digit advantage. Just kind of how tough was maybe just that first few minutes, especially of the second half, where they're just able to get some separation.
Yeah, to come out of the locker room, that's been something that we've been really good at this year. In that first 4 minutes, and we came out, we didn't execute offensively. Made some self-inflicted wounds. Give up a couple rebounds, turn the ball over. I mean, it was not how we play. And good teams turn that into double-digit lead. You're going to pay for that, and that's why Toledo has had the success they have. And so we got to take out those stretches. We have those 3-4 minute stretches in every game where we do turnovers and offensive rebounds and lose the possession battle. And I think that was the story of the game again.
And rebounding, obviously, you guys had some stretches where you guys rebounded really well, but Toledo did as well. They had the advantage on the boards, a lot of second chance points. Kind of how tough was that aspect as far as rebounding?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of playing small. We got 3 small guards in the lineup, and then when you do that, you have to find a couple of guys that are just going to play bigger than they are, tougher than they are. We've talked about that, a ton. Marcus is not a guy that's an above the rim guy at that 4 spot, and it puts a lot of pressure on Jemai. And then you're playing Jemai probably too long of stretches as a guy that's got to do all the dirty work, run 94 feet and all that sort of stuff. You don't want him out there 31 minutes every game. It takes away from what he does. But with the group that we have and the hand that we're dealt, we need him for rebounding. And right now, we don't have anyone stepping up. Our guards have not stepped up. We don't have one that's taken on that responsibility to say, "Hey, I'm going to go get the ball." And until we find that, and we do find it, that person's going to play 1 million minutes.
Basically, all seven guys in your rotation, they played at least 17 minutes. All 5 starters, 30 minutes. How much do you think that affected you guys late when you were trying to go on a run to close that double-digit depth?
Yeah, it's a factor. Right now, we're squeezing too many minutes out of everybody, and there's no off days, and that's with the quicker turnaround in the Friday game. You try your best to do recovery, but you got to practice. You got to put the work in. You got to put the preparation in, and we have guys that we have to, from an injury standpoint, are 1 or 2 days a week practicing, and a guy like Javante, doesn't practice. We need him for games, and until we feel he's 100%, he's just going out there and giving everything he has. So it catches up with you at some point. I think the fatigue is certainly showing. Preston Squire was ill today. Greg was ill all week. So all of a sudden, you're making hard decisions. And so the decisions today was to roll with those 2 guys and go with the 7-man rotation.
Marcus Johnson, game high 28 points, 10 for 20 from the field. Felt like he was keeping you guys in the game for a lot of it. Can you just talk about his performance today?
Yeah, again, another guy that we're asking to do too much. I think you cross the board and if impacts on the defensive end when you're running stuff through somebody on the offensive end and the high volume involved in plays, it's a grind. And so then you get on the other end of the floor, you're asking maybe to do too much. And, Toledo basically playing 4 guards. It's a tough matchup for him. And, but your choices are take him off the floor or take Jemiah off the floor. Well, those are both poor options for us. And so you have to do some scheming, and good teams, you need Toledo to not be able to shoot 50 from 3 and hit 12 threes if you're going to play some unique schemes in order to maybe hide some matchups, and they made us pay.
You guys now 2-5 in MAC play. How big of a game now is it against Kent State, one of the top teams in the conference? Chance to kind of turn tides for you guys.
Every game is a big game. That's the way we look at it. And this stretch is we circled this stretch and said, hey, we knew our first half of league play was brutal for us, and the stretch of at Miami, Ohio, Toledo, at Kent, at Central Michigan, it was going to be kind of that stretch of the season that we were going to have to fight. And we're going to see what we look like getting off the mat and fighting on Tuesday.
Just bigger picture, I was just curious, with just the way college basketball is structured now, where teams are switching or turning over completely every year, have rivalries like this lost a little bit of their soul, or does this game still mean everything to you guys? What does the Toledo BG rivalry mean to you? Yeah, no,
I think there's maybe not the same vitriol of when it's 4, guys that have been in it for their 4th year and their 8th contest or 10th contest, depending on the tournament and all that sort of stuff. Those where you're just seeing the same guy over and over. That's kind of what makes college football great. You watch Michigan, Ohio State, and you're like, is Jack Sawyer ever going to graduate? You just kind of watch these things. There's something beautiful about that in college sports, and you don't get that in MAC play in college basketball, and it does take away a little bit. But I think to a man in that locker room, they wanted to beat Toledo. And all week we talked about it. They talked about it on the visit. We talked about it in summer, and people talked about it in the community from the win here last year. So it's still a big deal. Is it maybe it's a game that they'll remember, as opposed 10 years down the line they'll still remember it. They'll still remember losing it because it matters. But is it that as it's taken away from a coach and as a fan, you kind of wish, all our guys are back from last year and all their guys are back from last year, and then it was just a little bit more, spiteful, I think. But yeah, I agree with you to some degree.
Coming in, Toledo has not shot the ball well from 3 this year. Tonight they shoot 50%. What do you make of that? How do you?
Yeah, they made us pay. You play the percentages, especially with our limitations. We're a little bit small on the 1, 2, 3 positions, and Marcus at the 4. They're going against the guard. So you're scheming, saying, hey, this guy's a 20% shooter coming into this game. He doesn't make threes, and boom, he hits 2 in the first half. And you've got to give up something when you have mismatch problems out there. And our thing, and numerically, you would say, hey, yeah, might have to give up a couple threes to guys that are not making. And then when they make a couple, so now you overcompensate, and all of a sudden now you're rotating off of shooters, and then you get in a world of hurt. And so that was a big factor in the game.
You guys shot 6 for 22 from 3 today. What can you do in practice or in recent weeks to kind of fix that or improve upon that as you guys head into a tougher MAC schedule?
Yeah, we've been a very good 3-point shooting team at times. I think we had 10 or 12 on Saturday or whatever day of the week it is. I don't even know, Tuesday. And then you come back today and it's not the same, and I thought, but we got to take away some of the ones that weren't great. I like the catch and shoot, the feet set ones are good. The ones that you're maybe trying to go for a hero shot or go for a little bit of buzz because we just made one. We got to probably take those out. We got to play more inside out.
I mean, you talked a little about like how the college basketball rivalries kind of like dwindled down due to transfers, but a guy like Jemai Felt, who's been on the sidelines for 2 straight seasons with injuries, like how cool was it to see him like playing like a battle by 75 game in front of like a packed Stroh Center?
Yeah, I mean, Jemai, is a guy that you designed this thing, back-to-back ACLs. He's got every pad in America on his body at different whatever you can wear. He's wearing it right now to try to stay on the court. And you didn't, it was one you didn't really account for. You didn't know what he was going to be able to bring this year. There's no guarantee of anything. And with our situation, he was thrust into, a starting role. And he hasn't relinquished it. So you're seeing him, the rise of his game day to day, and that's fun to see for a guy. Even though he's in his 3rd year, he's a true freshman. There was no practices these last 2 years. There was just watching and waiting his turn.
Can you talk a little bit about that environment today? Biggest crowd of the year by far here, over 4,000 in attendance for the game.
I mean, the community is spectacular. I mean, the fan base has been nothing but supportive, and they our group is easy to get behind because they do leave it on the court. They play hard. They're good guys, and but I think that represents this community, this campus. I think we're 4th or 5th in the league in home attendance and MAC play, and so they're coming out and supporting. And you can't ask for more than that. Our guys want to win for Bowling Green. Our guys want. There's no question about it. They have pride in the orange and brown. And in an era when I don't know if that's always the case, these guys hurt to lose. You know what I mean? They're not. No one's playing for themselves. No one's doing all that stuff. They want to just win and win for Bowling Green, which is special.
Marcus Johnson, 9 3-point attempts tonight. He kind of had a happy hand. He was shooting a lot late in the game. Would you like him to be more selective, or?
Yeah, and we talked about that. You're spot on. We had Simmons with 4 fouls and with the game plan, we wanted to try to target that, get more inside, and he saw some threes that presented themselves, and sometimes he's such a good shooter, he's his own worst enemy, and so we talked about that, and I think he continues to evolve. He's another guy, like this is still his first season in Division I basketball, and we're continuing to evolve. He and Javante and these guys are still pretty new to what this all looks like.
More questions for Coach? Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.